There has been a tug and pull between Ghanaians and Nigerians as to where Jamaican people came from, ladies and gentlemen.
It feels like Jamaica. Ghana even smells like Jamaica.
The Creole of Jamaican, the original Creole, which is Chromansi, is spoken by the Akan people of the central region of Ghana, ladies and gentlemen. That is how, that's how, Jamaicans is so much linked up with the Ghanaian people. But again, also the Nigerians, they are also not left behind. Look at the word like uno. Uno is a Jamaican phrase. Okay, is a Patois phrase.
Look, I would say Jamaicans have got Nigerian personality though. Look what happened today. We're acting like this is a Jamaican team.
What did you just say?
You see, Jamaican people came from different parts of Africa. There are Jamaicans that came from Sierra Leone. There are Jamaicans that came from Ghana. There are Jamaicans that came from Nigeria. There are Jamaicans that came from East Africa, on the eastern side of Congo.
Ghana feels like...
It is known that Jamaicans are from Ghana, from the Akan, from the Ashanti tribe, and also...
So I've been recently seeing a lot of videos on this whole Ghana-Jamaican relationship.
There has been a tug and pull between Ghanaians and Nigerians as to where Jamaican people came from, ladies and gentlemen. You see, Jamaican people came from different parts of Africa. There are Jamaicans that came from Sierra Leone. There are Jamaicans that came from Ghana. There are Jamaicans that came from Nigeria. There are Jamaicans that came from East Africa, on the eastern side of Congo.
Ghana feels like Jamaica. Ghana even smells like Jamaica. Even some of your language is similar to Jamaica. So, the way some of the villages talk, I don't know what you call it. We call it Patois, but you guys speak and you say, Adekam. And that kind of is similar to Patois.
Pidgin.
Yeah, Pidgin, there you go. So Pidgin and Patois, very similar. And even some of the tree language, like there are people in Jamaica that still use certain words. So some of the foods are the same.
Someone is talking about Sierra Leone. Well, after the British abolished slave trade, Sierra Leone did not have a lot of African people, did not have a lot of black people. So the Jamaicans that remained in Jamaica, they did not have so much to do. They didn't have work. They didn't have anything. So the British people created a free town in Sierra Leone and migrated forced to migrate Jamaicans from Jamaica to Sierra Leone. Others, of course, went on their own free will, ladies and gentlemen. So when you talk about the Sierra Leone, there is a section of people in the Sierra Leone that came from Jamaica, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, so it is true. There's a section of Jamaicans in Sierra Leone, but Jamaicans did not come from Sierra Leone. We have a section of Jamaicans that came from Jamaica and were migrated to Sierra Leone so that they can let that land, so that they can populate that country, ladies and gentlemen. But a large group of Jamaicans, they came from West Africa, predominantly Nigeria, Ghana, and also the Congo, ladies and gentlemen. But of late, just like the way I have said, there has been like tug and pull, tug and pull, like the way this gentleman is saying. A Jamaican went to Ghana, and there is this gentleman. He's telling a Jamaican, hey, you people, the original name of Jamaica is Zamayaka.
We are Ashanti. We're from Kumasi. That's the Rastafari. Rasta is from this road.
No. Yeah. Explain to me about Jamaica again.
I have no problem. So I said the real name of Jamaica is known as Jamaica. That's the name, that's Ashanti language. And that tells the slave that they have started from this land. We can no longer go back to Africa.
That's the original name, according to this Ghanaian man. Jamaicans predominantly came from the Ashanti people, okay? And actually the
and then one of the slave masters used the Ashanti language to name the town Jamaica.
Jamaica. Oh,
Jamaica.
Okay.
The real name is Jamaica.
Jamaica.
And that tells the slave that we have started from this land. We can no longer go back to Africa.
Oh.
And then one of the slave masters used that name to name the town Jamaica.
To hold them.
Yeah. Jamaica is Jamaica. That's the name, Jamaica. Ashanti.
What language? Ashanti.
Kumasi. You're from Kumasi.
Oh, yes.
You are from Kumasi. That's where your root is from. So when you get to Kumasi, the way you dress, the way you eat, your house, your everything really looks like them in Jamaica as well. Yes. So a lot of Jamaicans like to go to Kumasi.
That's true.
Original Creole of Jamaican, the original Creole, which is Chromansi, is spoken by the Akan people of the central region of Ghana, ladies and gentlemen. That is how, that's how, Jamaicans is so much linked up with the Ghanaian people. But again, also the Nigerians, they are also not left behind. Look at the word like uno. Uno is a Jamaican phrase. Okay, is a Patois phrase, but the same word uno is also used by the Nigerian people. Okay, look at the similarities between the Nigerians and Jamaicans.
I would say Jamaicans have got Nigerian personality though. Look what happened today. We're acting like this is the Jamaican team.
What did you just say?
Jamaicans have got Nigerian personality.
Don't say that again.
When we deep it, we both behave like we're the biggest country in Africa. We behave as if Nigerians behave as if we're from the capital of Africa, bro.
But Congolese aunties and Jamaican aunties have blue hair sometimes. This is very true.
Caribbeans have red hair sometimes.
Don't Jamaicans act like they run the whole, like, carnival's not really theirs, is it? Let's be honest. It's not.
What is this? Wait, have you just come here to just slander our team?
No, I support Jamaicans. I used to be one. I used to be one all through school, bro. My friends are watching this like, swear down, he's not even, nah, bro, Nigerian.
Have so many similarities. The confidence. Look at how Nigerians are very confident. Very, very confident. You will walk in a room and you can always tell a Nigerian. The same way you can tell a Jamaican, it's easy to identify a Jamaican. It's also very easy to identify Nigerians. These guys are characterized by similar behavior, ladies and gentlemen. Look at how Jamaicans believe in themselves. They love their food so much. Look at the Nigerians also love their food. Actually, Nigerians believe that they cannot eat anything outside Nigerian food, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the mode of dressing. Jamaicans, their mode of dressing, they stick with their own mode of dressing. Look at the colors that pop out. The same thing with Nigerians. So Nigerians also stick with their own mode of dressing. When they go to the US, we'll see the Ankara. You see similar behavior. They are emulating similar behavioral patterns, ladies and gentlemen. They are loud, they are confident, they are very good in sports. Ladies and gentlemen, now both of these two countries, both of them want to have direct flight. We have Ghana also want to have their own direct flight between Ghana and Jamaica. We also have Nigeria. Just recently, Nigeria also want to, they want to launch also their own direct flight, but it has not been finalized. Yet in either of the two countries. So we are waiting, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Ghana wants to launch their own direct flight. Nigeria also want to launch their own direct flight to Jamaica. Okay, but clearly you can tell there's a tug and pull between Ghana and Nigerians as to whom can claim Jamaican people more, ladies and gentlemen. But either way, or one of the two, Jamaicans come from either of those two countries, ladies and gentlemen. But again, there's also another Nigerian that shares some very important facts about Jamaican people. They were the first large group of people from the Caribbean that migrated to Europe during Windrush. Okay, and again, he also goes ahead and shares with us another interesting fact that Jamaicans received, the first, Jamaicans were the victims of racism, during Windrush. Those are the ones that have, experienced it all when it comes to racism, ladies and gentlemen. But let me tell you something. That is just the tip of the iceberg. That is just the tip of the iceberg. But either way, let me play this video and then I'm coming back to react after this.
Credit to who credit is given, the Jamaicans were the first generation of black people that came with Windrush into this country. And shout out to them because they also had to deal with a lot of stuff. When Jamaicans were in this country and they came in 57, there are many venues that would put up outside, no Irish, dogs. No blacks, no dogs. It happened in this country.
Yeah.
They were the first generation that had to deal with that. So you get at times this little animosity between the Caribbean, not even Caribbean, mostly Jamaican and Nigerian. It's a power thing. You get it? Peter Tosh said, it doesn't matter where you come from.
Right.
As long as you're a black man, you're an African.
You're an African.
It doesn't, when you go to those places, you just start to see the similarities. All this whole divide and rule that the West create, we need to rise above it and realize this, we are all one.
For those people who know the history of Jamaicans as far as racism is concerned, what happened during Windrush was just a tip of the iceberg. If there is a group of people that have been brutalized, discriminated and killed because of racism and discriminations, it is the Jamaican people. Remember what happened during the Panama Canal era, when a lot of Jamaicans were recruited by the US government between 1800 and 1914. From 1914 all the way to 1940, a lot of Jamaicans lost their lives. Thousands and thousands of Jamaican people lost their lives due to tropical diseases like typhoid, malaria. They were exposed into very harsh weather, into very harsh working conditions and even weather conditions. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of them were tortured, brutalized, because racism was so rampant. It was so bad during those days, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what happened is the US government institutionalized racism into the order of silver roll and gold roll. In the gold roll, it means the whites. The gold roll were the whites, where the whites will receive the highest pay and they will receive the best conditions. Now Jamaicans were in the category of the silver roll, where they will receive the worst payment. They were subjected into very brutal and very harsh working conditions. Ladies and gentlemen, millions of Jamaicans died during those days, undocumented and unreported, and they have never been compensated as we speak. Then again, between 1800 to 1930s, a lot of Jamaicans again migrated from Jamaica to Costa Rica to help out in the construction of to help out in farming and construction of the railway lines. A lot of them settled in a place called Puerto Limon. And during those days again, Jamaicans were exposed to very harsh working conditions and very harsh weather conditions. A lot of them again, they were killed because of racism. Racism was still rampant in Costa Rica. These guys were confined into Limon. They were confined into Puerto Limon to their freedom of movement was curtailed. They were not allowed to move any part or anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, you see, I'm telling you, when you're talking about racism, when we are talking about racism, Jamaicans have seen it all. They have seen it all. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if there is something that I love so much, is history. Go and read about the Jamaican migration to the Panama. Jamaican migration to Panama, where they came to help in the reconstruction of the Panama. You see, the US government preferred working with Jamaicans because they were very industrious. So between 1840s to 1914, a lot of them came to Panama. Go and read about Jamaican migration to New York, Harlem in 1920s. Go and read about Jamaican migration to Costa Rica between the late 1870 all the way to 1940 to 1930s. A lot of Jamaicans, a large group of Jamaicans came to work in the railway construction in Costa Rica, and also another group went to work in the UFC, that is United Fruit Company, where they were involved with the banana cultivation, since they were very knowledgeable when it comes to banana cultivation. Go and read about Jamaica's migration to Britain in 1948, famously known as the Windrush, whereby a large part of Britain was destroyed because of World War II. So the British government preferred Jamaicans for the same reason. They were industrious, so that they can help them help build Britain back to where it was. Have you noticed all this pattern among Jamaican people? They loved working with Jamaicans because they were industrious. The same thing with Costa Rica, when a large group of them worked at the railway construction. Okay, but now when it comes to the Costa Rica, Jamaicans were really, or the people of West Indies, they were really mistreated so badly. There was rampant racism. Again, a lot of Jamaicans also died because of tropical diseases like yellow fever and malaria. And then another thing is, a lot of Jamaicans were also confined in one place. It was called Puerto Limon. But again, in 1948, civil war broke out, whereby the Costa Rica government had to abolish slavery or racism and adopt a new constitution. The new constitution was called the Joseph Figueres Ferrer. At least for this constitution, it gave humanity to Jamaican people. Ladies and gentlemen, now Jamaicans, they were allowed to move freely within Costa Rica. They were also allowed to intermingle with the Costa Ricans. Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, because there was a civil war. There was a civil war that really broke out. Jamaicans have been really fighting for their own respect to this world. I guess right now maybe the universe is paying the Jamaican people. Ladies and gentlemen, either way, thank you so much for watching my videos up to this point, and subscribe and share this video far and wide. My name is called Real Marcos, and I make real authentic commentary videos. No studio, no editing, no nothing. I come the way I am, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, see you again in my next video.